Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another classic album. And this one, again, is from the 70s. And in the 2 years that we've been going, I've never really featured this band. And I find it bizarre because it's one of my favourite bands from the 60s. And it's The Doors. But the good news is we are going to be doing an album ranking, a full album ranking of The Doors in the near future. But today we're going to have a look at one of their classic albums. Now, The Doors, of course, were filmed in Los Angeles in 1965 by Jim Morrison, keyboardist Ray Manzarek, guitarist Robbie Krieger, and drummer John Densmore. Very influential band from the 60s. And I love Jim Morrison's vocals and his voice and his persona on stage. Sadly, one of the people that died at 27, and a sad loss to the world, but he left us with some fantastic stuff. So the album we're going to look at is this one, LA Woman, which is the 6th album released by The Doors in 1971, and it was the last to feature Jim Morrison during his lifetime, because he died exactly 2 months and 2 weeks following the album's release. Now, this was a little bit different. They changed their direction a little bit, and it was becoming more blues influence. So, as I said, the people that play on here, of course, are Jim Morrison on the vocals, Ray Manzarek on the piano and organ, Robbie Krieger on lead guitar, John Densmore on drums. Now, there is actually a bass player on here. It's Jerry Sheaf. We've got some rhythm guitar from Mark Beno as well. So, first track on here is a great track called The Challenging. I do love this track. Having Jerry on the bass now, just giving extra depth. Although Ray did a great thing on the keyboards, it's freed up Ray to do more keyboardy stuff. It's groovy, and Jim sings brilliant on this. I love this. Then we get Love Her Madly. It's just one of them great interplays between Ray and Bobby. That is the jewel of this piece of music. Again, Jim's great, but it's just all about Robbie and Ray on that brilliant track. Then Been Down for So Long, great vocal from Jim. One of the classics. I do like this. John's drumming is really good, and you got this great bass line on this from Jerry. Absolutely brilliant. Good solo from Robbie as well. Cars Hiss By My Window, great number again. Robbie's guitar work in this is just absolutely dynamic. I just like this. Then we get the classic LA Woman. This is probably one of my favourite tracks by The Doors. It's just brilliant. Ray's keyboards are just brilliant on here. But as I said, because you've got a bass player, it allowed Ray to just show us more of his skill. He hasn't got to rely on doing the bass line as long as the main bit of the keyboards. He just had a blast on this. It's just a fantastic track. Then we get L'America. What I like about this, again, Ray's keyboards are a little bit off key, but it doesn't distract you from the track. It adds to the track. The drumming from John on this is just brilliant. It's just classic Doors. I just love it. Hyacinth House comes next. Again, the highlight of this is John's drumming. Really holds it together. You got Robbie's great guitar work on this. It really is a good track, and Jim, of course, just fantastic. Then there's a cover song on here, and it's a John Lee Hooker song called Crawling the King's Snake. I love this track by John Lee Hooker, but the Doors do a fantastic version of this. Great guitar work here from Robbie. He really plays his best, and it's got a great bass line from Jerry. Absolutely terrific. Then we get the WASP, or the Texas Radio and the Big Beat, another bluesy sound. This is a different sort of sound that was coming from the Doors. The bluesy sound, great bass line from Jerry, just a solid track. And then we get the magnificent, the eerie, one of the best tracks I ever recorded. It's Riders on the Storm. That eeriness of this, the delicate guitars, the lovely drums, and that eerie vocal from Jim sends shivers through you. The live version of this is just fantastic. It's a great track to end the album. Okay, when this came out, the album received mostly positive reviews. Rolling Stone's Robert Meltzer was impressed by the sense of fun and togetherness of the band, saying it was the Doors' greatest album and the best album of the year. The New Musical Express critic Roy Carr called it one of the best, in something praising it having great depth, vigour and presence. Melody Maker wrote a not so favourable review, commenting some of the cuts, especially the effective piano on Riders on a Storm, deemed the rest of the album, what the they know. Okay, guess who else had to say about this? Robert Christgau, and his record guy of the 70s, wrote, appreciated Morrison's sense of humour in some of the lyrics and believed the band had never sounded better. Although he was disappointed with Been Down So Long and L'America, which are some of my favourite tracks. Then in his 1994 book, The Complete Guide of the Doors, Peter Hogan described the album as an expansion on the style from Morrison Hotel and a little bit more coherent. He also believed LA Woman is a fitting swan song for Morrison, who was pleased to finally record a blues orientated album. So the scores on the Doors for this was AllMusic gave it a 4.5, American Songwriter 4.5, Christel's Record Guide A-, Classic Rock gave it a 7 out of 10, Music Hound 4 out of 5, Pop Matters an 8 out of 10, Q 3 out of 5, Rolling Stones 4.5, and the Rolling Stone album game 4.5. Did well in the charts in America, number 9, only got to number 28 here, number 1 in Holland, gold here in the UK, 3 times platinum in America, platinum in France and Canada and Australia. This is an excellent album. Some of the critics weren't favourable of it, but I love this album. It's the same as the last album that Jim Morrison did with the Doors. I mean, they did make some after it. I think it just lost its spark. Although the music was good, it just lost its spark. Just one of the classic albums of the 70s, and it's a Doors album that I do play hell of a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go, bit of Doors. I think, but wow, the way things are going, I think the Doors full album ranking will be round about Christmas time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I thought this is just a little taster of what we're going to get. If this is a 9 out of 10, you know it's going to be quite a way up on the list. Okay, that's all for today, folks. But I'll be back tomorrow where we have got, I think it's part 4 of the David Crosby story, and we're going to be looking at the albums that he just made with Graham Nash. Two busy people, but they still managed to find time to write a few albums together. And then we've got tomorrow a retro ranking, and we're going to do some movie soundtracks, and we're going to have a look at the work of Ennio Morricone. So I'm going to pick my favourite bits of music from Ennio. I'll warn you now, it's lots of cowboys. So that's all coming tomorrow. So have a great day, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Bye for now.